Today I'm going to show you how to make deviled eggs, one of my favorite dishes that I make for family gatherings. This recipe is a really easy recipe to follow. It's so easy, my daughter thinks she's a pro at it. She's watched me make it over the years and she thinks she's mastered it. She probably has, but I think mine tastes better. Making dishes like this brings me great joy because I get to share it with the people that means the most to me. I've been making deviled eggs for most of my family gatherings for over 15 years now. So I'm gonna take you through a step-by-step process of making deviled eggs. I'm starting off with everything I need to make my deviled eggs. I have my eggs, my pot, the top, strainer, 2 bowls, scissors, mayonnaise, sugar to taste, but this is optional, black pepper, paprika, yellow mustard, sweet relish, a fork, a spoon, a knife, a Ziploc bag, which is also optional, and a tray. You will place your eggs in the pot, single layer, cover them with water about 1.5 inches above the egg. Once your eggs are in the water and you boil it, and they come to a boil, you then turn the eye down to low and let them simmer for about 1 to 2 minutes. Once they've simmered for 1 to 2 minutes, you then turn your eye off or turn the fire down or electric, whatever you're using. You cover it, and you cover it for 15 minutes. You remove it from the heat and let it sit for 15 minutes. After your eggs have sat covered for 15 minutes, you then run them under cold water. I then put them in a strainer because the holes are small and I can be able to crack the egg and easily dispose of the shells once I'm done. After rinsing the eggs, you then crack the egg and peel the shell off of it. I sometimes run water over my egg once I've done that because sometimes the shell will be stuck to it. So you can also do that as well. I just love how the shell easily peels off of the egg. And I repeat this same step until I've taken the shell off all my eggs. And after I'm peeling the shell off and rinsing them all, I place them in a bowl. So that way they won't have the shell or anything on them as I'm doing the other one. Then you come across some eggs that just didn't do right, but it's all good. You can still use those eggs as long as the egg white is still intact. Once I've taken the shells off, I then take my knife, and it's good to have a nice sharp knife, and I cut the egg lengthwise in half. I have a separate bowl on the side where I drop my egg yolk in, okay? And then I have my tray that I'm gonna have the eggs in as a display. And you do this for each egg. And be mindful, it could still be kind of warm, so be careful. And sometimes, you know, the yolk will stick inside, but it's okay to leave some in. But try to get as much as you can out of the shell as possible. So this is where the fun part is. And it's very, 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 very important that your hands are clean when you're doing this process, because you're putting your hands all on the shell and things of that nature. So always be mindful to wash your hands in between processes. Okay, my next step is, once you've taken all the yolk out of each egg, you use a fork and you smash it, however you want to put it, into fine crumbles. It depends on how fine you want it. Some people like their deviled eggs with a thicker consistency. I like mine with a thinner. So I try to crumble the egg yolk up as fine as possible. Sometimes it's a little hard to get it all, but once all of your egg yolk is crumbled up, now starts the fun part, where you mix in your ingredients. Now, I usually don't measure my ingredients because I've been making it so much. I like how the consistency of my egg. So I just do it. I play it by ear, and you can use less at first. If you think you might do too much at one time, you can always add in. So I take the first step I'll do is like a tablespoon. Might be a little bit over a tablespoon. Yeah, let's do a little bit over. Tablespoon of mayonnaise. When I use black pepper, I don't use as much. I just sprinkle just enough to give it a little color, but not as much. My mustard, I do 2 squirts. I can get it out. Okay, that might have been 3. Sometimes you do a little bit more. Sometimes you do a little bit less. But the way I look at it is that I do it to taste. I taste it. If I need to add something in, I do so. But I do this, I mix up my ingredients first before adding my sugar. Like I said, sugar is optional. I like a sweet double egg, just a tad bit sweet, not too much, because you don't want to overpower, because everybody, can't have sugar. So I try not to do a lot of sugar. So what I'll do is, let me get in the sugar. I'll take a teaspoon, just a teaspoon, just a teaspoon, not do that much. And then I mix that in. And try to make sure you have all of your egg yolk blended in with the ingredients, the other ingredients. And like I said, some people like their deviled eggs a little thicker. I don't. I like mine just with medium texture. I don't know if you can see. Medium texture. Okay. Once you've mixed your egg yolk together and you receive the consistency that you want, like I said, again, I'm reiterating, some people like it thick. I like mine a medium texture, not too runny. That's why I don't really measure out things. I just put a little bit at a time, and you can be the judge of how thick or thin you want yours. Also, with this, okay, so now next, what I'm gonna do, I have a Ziploc bag. Now this is optional. I do the Ziploc bag because I think that it gives me an even distribution of egg yolk into the egg whites. But again, you can also obtain that by using a spoon, but I just think that, I don't, and plus I think it's kind of fun. I like to play around with a lot of things. So and I saw this on a cooking show one day. So what I do is I put my egg yolk ingredient fillers inside my Ziploc bag. Now, depending on how many eggs you fix, like if you're doing it for a large party, you know, you be the judge of how much you do at a time. But in this case, because I only did 7 eggs, I'm gonna put majority of my mixture in. And then what I do is I take out some of the air and I close it. Now, I take the corner, I leave a little empty corner part, and I take it and I cut it diagonally, just a small cut. So that way, I mean, it's like a piping. I do this like they do the cupcakes and things of that nature. I use this like that. So, then I fill my eggs. It's kind of up to you how much you want to fill it up. I like to have a lot in mind, so, you know, not too much and not too little. You see how it just kind of glides out the bag into the shell. And sometimes you have to squeeze the bag to get out all the egg yolk over to that side. Yeah, sometimes it jumps out when I'm trying to squeeze the egg yolk. But you get the drift. Once you fill the shells with the egg yolk, you then garnish with paprika. Some people I use regular paprika. Some people use smoked paprika. It's up to you. And I try not to do a lot. I mean, it's just for garnish. So once you garnish them, they are now ready to serve. Today I showed you how to make a deviled egg recipe that you can make in no time with just using a few simple ingredients. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial today, and maybe you can be able to make this at your next gathering. I know it'll be a hit. So enjoy.